Recording has started. So I'm really happy to welcome you here. I'm going to just switch to my presentation firstly. Not my presentation, but presentation that we prepared for you with Eva. Okay, just in a minute. Okay. All right, so welcome here, everyone who was able to join us for this Friday meeting or Friday webinar. So what are we going to do today? So two very enthusiastic eTwinning ambassadors, so Gabriela and Eva, we are going to tell you something more about how you can integrate nature-based solutions in your education, and not only into education, but definitely because you all are eTwinners, so it would be really good information for you to use and to take inspiration to start a new eTwinning project with green topic, as you see. So in this webinar, we are going to show you what really nature-based solution mean and how you can run simple projects based on eTwinning rules with your students and with the students from different countries and teachers from different countries, and how to elaborate such project with people from around Europe, and to just get as much as possible to teach students what really nature-based solution mean and how to inspire them to be more environmentally friendly and how to care about the nature and everything what is around them. So this was the poster we invited you for this webinar, as you can see, and there is everything what we can start with. So at the beginning, as you can see, Eva, my colleague from Poland, is going to tell you such more details. You can you start?
Right, I'm going just to explain briefly what NBS is, because nature-based solutions are not very popular yet. Unfortunately, we are hoping to make them more popular. What you can see here in the slide are two photos of the same place. The place in the upper one, the upper photo, shows a river, although it's hard to believe, but there is a river under the highway. Some time ago, many years ago, in Seoul, the river was so dirty, ugly, and unpleasant that people decided to cover it with highway. They didn't want to look at it. And then a new mayor decided to restore the river ecosystem. And well, it definitely required a lot of money. But what you can see in the photo at the bottom, this is what the river looks now. It's clean, it is beautiful, nice to look at. But what is more, it is also one of the most favorite places of the local citizens. They go there to spend their time with families, with friends. They meet socially, they rest, but it is also economic for the city, because also many tourists come to this city to see uh, this is one of the places they want to see. So the city earns thanks to tourism. So nature-based solution is not only for pleasure, but it also has some other reasons. Gabriela, can
Yeah.
you move on?
Mhm.
So, give you a brief definition, very simple definition. So, nature-based solutions are such solutions that use nature not only to have the view to entertain people, but also to solve some social, ecological, or even economic problems. The examples are a green roof that you can see in the picture, a green roof which absorbs rainwater when there is too much of it. It also provides insulation before heat or before very cold winters. Another example are restored ecosystems, as you could see in the previous slide, the river. A social garden, which is usually a garden set up by by the citizens, by the local citizens on the area that belongs to the city, and people grow vegetables, grow plants there. They meet there, so they rest, they develop their interests. uh, but they also have a tangible benefit that are the vegetables that they grow. There are some more examples like water management, reservoirs. In I don't know what it's like in your towns, in your cities, but in Poland we have very severe storms during summer, and sometimes there is so much water, so much pouring rain that the water is not absorbed by the ground, and we have lots of puddles or even local flooding. And if the city invests in reservoirs, which collect the water, the rainwater, then the city is dry even after the storm. We also have rain gardens which absorb rainwater from the drains. We can provide vertical gardens which um, provide as an insulation or separate uh, local or square markets where people go, where people walk, uh, and busy streets, making the square gardens or square the market squares quite um, peaceful, quiet, and just more pleasant for the people. Let's go to the next slide. And why we are talking about implementing nature-based solution at school, because it is a very important part of ecological education. We talk about ecology more and more, and we have to, right? Because we know what's happening in the world. So this is very important part of this ecology. But also, when we think about the lessons themselves, NBS at school um, enables students to develop many skills and competences because the way the lessons are planned. They are not typical lessons usually. They focus on developing skills of the students. What is more, they use modern teaching methods. They allow students to make a change and feel the change. When we talk about ecology, probably when people think about, for example, recycling, uh, probably all of us recycle our rubbish, but we cannot feel the change that it makes in reality, right? Because it happens somewhere else. And when we talk about NBS, we can make a change in our local surrounding and we can also benefit from it. So it makes us feel it. Also, students learn to be active citizens to try to solve local problems. They become sensitive to nature, which is very important in their adult life later on to continue this ecological behaviors. And NBS reaches not only students, but also their families, local citizens, because we usually involve whole families into that. Now, I give the floor to Gabriela, which will tell you, who will tell you, sorry, about about her learning scenario.
So thank you, Eva. So right now, as you can see, we start from this point so to present ourselves and to show you something what you can implement also in your eTwinning project. So my name is Gabriela Kryzowska, as you can see, and I have been working as an eTwinning ambassador and also scientific ambassadors in Slovakia for many years. But my real job is to be a teacher of ICT and English in my country. And the age of my students at primary school is from the age of 10 up to 15. So I think the group of students who are really, who should be really involved in such activities like nature-based solution and to teach them how to cope with such problem and such topic and how to implement it into everyday ecology problems and solving ecologic problems. So that's why I have run and actually tested and also developed this learning scenario. Its name is Greta, as you can see, so green relevant environment to all. And what I wanted to just implement in my learning scenario was the combination of learning a little bit about STEM or STEM actually. So science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics, and also to involve CLIL methods. Those who teach languages, you know that CLIL methods is to learn or actually to teach English language in meaningful context, not only to learn vocabulary or grammatical structures, but also to give students the real topic to discuss and to just see how the functionality of language is developed through the context. So that's why I just started a learning scenario to be produced. And what I wanted really to do was that actually in my project, in my eTwinning project, is good if there is an influencer or actually an idol that students can just associate with. So for this learning scenario, I took Greta Thunberg. I think it's a well-known name. So all of us might agree or disagree because people have really different opinions to that person. But I just wanted her to be a teenage influencer who influences the generation of my students actually from the age of 10 up to 15 and what they really think is good, what she actually has done. And also I wanted, or I set my learning scenario on the video that she has made, Nature Now, and all in the video is towards nature-based solutions. And during my learning scenario and practicing the learning scenario, I wanted my students to learn about environmental destruction, and I wanted my students to just develop their critical thinking, to to say about their attitude to what's going on around them, because they are the generation that really will be influenced by the ecology disaster if we don't take any actions right now. And also what is good for them, there is environmental solutions that they maybe can find self-studying material and also to just learn how to cope with such problems through these learning scenarios and all those nature-based solutions. And also, as you know, Greta Thunberg has already started her campaign, and it's the actually she is the influencer, and people can see that she has already taken a lot of actions, a lot of protests, a lot of campaigns. So I wanted my students to also understand the necessity of taking action, not to be too late to start something like that with their environment and just save the environment around them. So, and my learning scenario and also Eva's learning scenario are those which were elaborated in an NBS project. And there are together 15 learning scenarios based on topics and on the age of students. From kindergarten, like Eva is going to present kindergarten dealing. I'm here to present the dealing with the nature-based solution for teenagers. And all you can find is actually in Scientific repository. All those 15 scenarios you can find there and just get inspiration. Actually, what I wanted in my learning scenario and I really focus on was to get students to learn English and to develop their speaking and listening skills, of course, because it's kind of working with the video and just implementing new vocabulary, new knowledge of such topic, and also use the subject specific vocabulary for students. And a correct sentence structure, of course, that you will see later because I have also prepared or elaborated just interactive worksheet for them to practice such parts of language. And also very interesting for them is to have or to be aware of having an attitude to something, to topic, to problem, to develop their critical thinking in such way. So we started very simple because I wanted them to express their ideas or their thoughts about campaign like Greta Thunberg has started. So, and I wanted them to state their opinion or to help just Greta Thunberg with her campaign. So encourage the fight against climate changes and to get them aware of what's going on. Then the purpose of this scenario is to teach about ecology or ecology disaster actually. And the life or actually the world is full of violence, so I wanted them to protest in non-violent ways and and having such word how to decide about their future. And as you can see, there is the display of all the not project, but actually posters that encourage them to protest in non-violent ways and to just elaborate such things and to show those posters around school and also go virtually to spread them or virtual networks to their friends and other people around in their surroundings actually. And as you can see in each poster, there is nature-based solution that has already been done in different parts of the world. So as you can see in each picture, in each poster, there is a lovely picture of everything green, or how nature was able to deal with the disasters in very simple way. Only very little was done by people. And as you can see, those places get to be again green. For example, you have some places like grass. As you see, something was done also in my country, and each poster showed that Greta Thunberg is really fighting for something what has got meaning. And it's meaningful because also with the example, people will realize that really it's possible to happen, and the nature can be recovered again with only small help from all of us. So Greta's campaign was supported by campaign of my students in this learning scenario. And what I wanted my students, so sometimes we have difficulties to get students to just express their thoughts and ideas about the problem. And this was the topic: to help or not to help Greta with her campaign. And I have chosen this thinking approach, as you can see, of six thinking heads. And it's really good if you have students at this age who are able to speak English and to just deliver a message in English. So to split them and to try on these six thinking head methods. It's a really old approach, and it was developed by Edward de Bono. I think it was in the year 1973, around 1973. And as you can see, so you have a group of students up to six, and each student wears a different color, maybe t-shirt, maybe hat, or maybe just a sticker you can, or he or she can use. And each color represents different approach to the problem. So as you can see, the white is usually very realistic. Before the debate, you have to collect all the data, all the numbers, all the facts to just present in the debate and to show that something is measurable in this discussion or the debate. Another, we have yellow hat, and it's really positive. It can just can come up with the ideas what such a campaign might bring to all the nations, all the world. Another opposite is the black hat or black color, that is really to show what weak points or weaknesses we can face during running such a campaign. Then we have the green one. So in the green one shows us different opportunities or recommendations how to deal with the campaign or what to do if there is ecological question to be solved. Also, red is something what we can predict might go wrong inside, and to just trust your guts actually. So you can come up with some ideas that it's not good and to state something. And there we have the blue hat. Definitely blue hat is like a moderator of the debate, and he or she or the student who wears that color should collect all the data and all the things that in the debate were presented. And what is really nice, because always we need to give students some visual approach. So it's good if you just run these debate and you take a really big poster or a sheet of paper, and students in different color write their thoughts and ideas. So the group of six people or six students definitely comes up with different ideas or attitudes to such topic. And this thinking approach might be used for really different things, not only ecological, but mostly you can use it if you run your eTwinning project, for example, and you have a meeting online, so students can elaborate such attitudes based on the different colors. And these methods is really good for eTwinning projects and to run eTwinning project with such things. And as you can see, because we went online while we were testing the learning scenario, so my students were doing everything online. And for this reason, if something similar happens to you, so it's good if you just use Padlet and you let your students in different color of the column to write the ideas about how to deal with the problem, or maybe if what they think about ecology, what they think about starting such a campaign. And as you can see, this was taken immediately when we were doing such debate. To tell you more about what my learning scenario is, I don't need to explain more because I have summarized everything in this JUMEC. As you can see, this is JUMEC e-journal. Now I would like to switch to my e-journal. I will show you what actually is all there. I hope you can see it. Okay, so I elaborated this e-journal as you can see, so you can easily go through all the pages. And sorry, I was just looking and trying if it works, so I got to the very last page of it, but don't worry, I will get to the very beginning. So if you want to work or if you want to implement these learning scenario in your eTwinning project, so you can find everything here on this link. I will share the link, and we will, with Eva, we will share all the links in our materials of this online event. So easily, if you go through this e-journal, you can see all the things that we collected. This is the learning scenarios with the all things you need to get ready before you start and test these learning scenario. All NBS resources, I know it's a little bit smaller, but if I make it bigger, so as you can see, you have here in this part a nature-based solution resources that we used in our learning scenario. So it's really good because the same or similar thing happens in each 15 or plus 15 learning scenarios. So you can find lots of things and really useful materials there if you just go into each learning scenarios and find what is there. And also what is good if you don't want to run a twinning project, or maybe you just want to try these during your lessons. So there is the set of, in my case, 4 lessons altogether. Also, you can see how much time you have to spend for everything. For example, here in the first lesson, in the second lesson, we ran the 6 thinking heads model with my students, and it took 25 minutes. Then also you have the third lesson in which I asked my students to go to ICT room, and they used Canva to prepare their posters for the campaign. And also the fourth lesson, it's all voluntary if you want to run or not. So the fourth lesson was just students were or given space to present their to present their posters, and also show other students how NBS in their picture and in their research was done with the different places they put into posters. While I was preparing my learning scenario, I also found some really useful materials. And as you can see there, there is working with the video. So in the video, Greta was just stating things about her attitude to the environment and her message for all of us to be environmentally friendly and to start action or to take action. The video, as you can see, is also in the e-journal, so you can use it, and also with the script that you can use with your students. Not only one video, but also there is another one, so it's up to you if you do it or not and with your students. But actually what I have found was something at British Council, and they had some extra activities based on the same video, so I just implemented into my e-journal, and later in interactive worksheet that easily you can use with your students. And also there are all the posters that my students elaborated, and you can see in each picture or in each poster there are the examples of nature-based solution actions in different places, with also the link where you can find those places and just show your students. So I go back to my presentation because there is something more I have to show you. So this is all together where you can see how it works and how you can also in your eTwinning project just summarize all the work. I think you are a really experienced eTwinners, so you usually all the outputs are put into such documentations like, okay, so where am I right now? Okay, so, and this is how it looks actually in Scientix repository. And together you have 15 learning scenarios there. So I'm going to show you where to find all of them. So as you can see, it's Slovak language. Sorry, I apologize for this. But if you go to that link and you just click on information for teachers, so you can see there are all of them. There are 15 results, and almost all my colleagues from different countries. They were countries like Spain, Italy, Germany. EU is from Poland. Like you see, all those 15 learning scenarios are there, so you can easily go there and you can open them and you can just download them and take in your lessons or in your another eTwinning project that will be dealing with such a green topic as you see there. So all those 15 scenarios. Some of those scenarios are just adjusted to different topic. As you can see, for example, this one is green jobs create economic opportunities. So also for older students and also for younger students, those 15 learning scenarios are for you to get easily and to use them in your lessons or actually in your eTwinning projects, because we are all eTwinners. So it's something for you. Sometimes you have a problem how to start an easy project and how to do such things. So for this, I wanted my students to engine their debate. So it's good if you start any project or any things with such kind of quiz. So it's just Google Drive, and you can just start such quiz. So as you can see, you will see at the very beginning of such implementing of such scenario that students come up with really different ideas, and based on the result, it might be the first thing into learning six thinking heads approach, because you have some data to start the debate with for the white hat. And also in this presentation, I put this video. So it's actually the learning scenario was based on this video, and to work with the script, and also some exercises were implemented to work with. We are not going to watch the video because I think you can watch it anytime, and we can find it also in my eJumek and also in the learning scenario, the full length of the video with script. And what I want you to show actually too, based to the topic, there is actually already done a live worksheet that I prepared for my students, and you can easily use it with your students. As you can see, so there is the video, and it can work as online studying material for students, because what you really need is just to send them the link to this. So students will watch the video. They also have the script to read for better understanding. So now I'm just talking a little bit from the point of English teacher. All right, so definitely if they work with the video, it's better for them to have also text to work with the vocabulary in the context, not only to watch video, because it's not enough for them to understand. So there is the script, and actually, as you can see, there are interactive exercises. So for example, this is easy to write the answers. So vocabulary and the definition is given here. So students can easily write the answers here. I'm just doing it like you can see. So they can write just letters of the definitions there. Another exercise is just they are going to put the sentences into chronological order as they appeared in the video. As you can see, so for instance, you'll write number 1 here, this one number 2 sentence in the video. So they work with it. And also this is how the sentences were formed in the video. So how they can, or students can actually form the sentences based on the watching of the video. So this is another part. And this interactive like worksheet, if some of you are familiar with it, so students can get immediate result and so they can see what was wrong and what wasn't wrong. But definitely this is good if you work in a tuning project. So definitely two sides. So you and your partner or students from different countries can prepare some such interactive worksheets as a kind of collaboration together. So maybe if you divide students into groups, so each group is going to prepare something like that, or you as a teacher, you can just share such material with the students if you have younger students. But I think for those who are at secondary school or actually at college, so it's no problems to prepare such interactive worksheet for exchange with other students such uh, in such learning or in such project actually. Okay, so now I think it was all from my side, and maybe you will find interesting topic about Greta and her campaign. Also for your students to start your eTwinning project. So now, I'm going to start sharing, or okay, are you here?
Yes, I am. Just switching to the
Okay,
presentation.
so now you can.
Okay.
And thank you very much, Eva, because you have already put into chat the link to Scientix, where you can find all those 15 scenarios. So just now feel free to go while we are here.
Okay.
And I have to say that EU is just working with younger students. So now you have a learning scenario from different point for younger students. Mhm.
All right. So just a few words about me because I haven't said that at the beginning. I'm also a teacher. I teach primary school subjects and English in primary school and in kindergarten. I'm ambassador of eTwinning as well, and I also belong to Polish group of well, that is perceived of very good teachers. That is called Super Belfry. I'm also Microsoft Innovative Educator expert. I write a blog, and I'm really passionate about implementing nature-based solutions at school. I really believe that's future of education, ecological education. Um, okay, so as Gabriela already said, my learning scenario is for young children, kindergarten or primary school, but those littlest ones, so students aged 6 to 9, especially those who don't read yet, because this scenario is based on photos. You can also implement it with older students as well, even probably with high school students. But basic idea was for young students. And the main skills that are developed thanks to this learning scenario are teamwork, critical thinking, and also searching for information from various sources. You have also the link to my learning scenario, but it is also on the list. When you click on the link, I have already pasted in the chat. The methodology in the learning scenario is that students acquire knowledge by analyzing photos. So it's not the teacher who tells them what NBS is, but students looking at lots of different photos, which are enclosed in the learning scenarios. So the teacher just takes them, shows them to the students either virtually through a interactive monitor, or prints them, and students can touch them. In fact, but the students looking at the photos, they try to split the photos or divide the photos into groups, and um, they, based on the photos, they decide what NBS is, right? They see various examples of nature-based solutions, and they try to develop the definition. Mm, what is more, thanks to this learning scenario, students at least try, but I hope that they will understand the relations between various elements of their surroundings. So it is always based on the local surroundings. So they look at the local area, the school itself, their houses, their the area around school, or maybe some places in the city close to the school or close to their houses. So they really work on the areas that are close to them that they use. What is more, they analyze data and search for more information. Not only reading is required here because we have immersive readers if that's necessary. We have lots of photos. We have sources where they, um, which we can suggest to the students. They also choose a problem or the given from the given place, from the local area. They design a solution. Um, it is possible just to finish on the design itself, right? Because nature-based solutions are usually quite costly. Not always, but they can be quite costly. So it's okay if we finish on the design. It's important for the students to understand what it is and to try to look for situations where they can implement it in reality. But if it's possible, we can try to implement at least some ideas in reality, right? We have, and I will show you in a minute. Um, what is important, as I said, students plan a nature-based solution for their closest surrounding. It is important because it makes them feel responsible for their surrounding. They, as I said at the beginning, it's not only they do something and they don't know what happens next, right? But they really see the change and they can benefit from it. So this is something really important. Um, what they can make a change really, so they feel motivated to do it more. And, like a snowball, they start with something really small, but they see it works, so they want more, they design more solutions, and ecology is not only talked about, but it's really in action. What is more, the students become active citizens because they act in the local surroundings, so they want to make something good for it, and they also build a strong bond with nature, which is important for the rest of their life. If they have that strong bond with nature, they will not destroy it in the future. Well, I have done this learning scenario twice with two groups of students. What you can see here are two photos of designs that my 6-year-old students made. Um, they are quite far-reaching because they designed, some of them designed a stream or some water reservoir in the school area because this is all around school. The black thing at the right corner um, photo is the school, the shape of the school. Some of them designed, for example, green maze. They designed um, some playgrounds that were based on nature, like a path in the trees, or some really creative, wonderful ideas. We couldn't implement all of them, of course, because they were costly, but some of them also designed meadows. Meadows are quite popular nowadays, right? In the city centers, we can see that there are not only um, shortly mown uh, lawns, but also we have meadows for the plant for the insects, for the bees. And my students designed it also. They wanted to make a meadow, and we did. We have a meadow in our school area, and they are really happy to go there to observe the bees working in the spring or in the summer before the holiday starts, so they can see they improved the life of the bees, and they know it will work for them, right? Because the bees are necessary for the people. They all know that as well. Okay, to make you more engaged, I prepared an exercise for you, so I will stop sharing it now for a minute. We still have a few minutes, so if you would like to try and do this word wall activity, because there are some NBS solutions, some examples, and what you have to do is match them, match the pictures to the names. I think it's very easy, but you could try, and let's see if you remember what we have already presented. I can also show for those who are working on the phone, for example, or watching it from the phone, I can't do that. So it's a very easy exercise. You just have to put the pictures in the proper places. And I hope remember what are the examples of nature-based solutions. How are you doing? Is it difficult? When you finish, you have to click submit answers and just wait a minute more. We'll let you finish it and write on the chat how was it. So, ready? Anyone finished? Worse results. You can do that again. Okay, I hope you're finishing because I would like to show you two more things. Okay, my first word wall. Well, not sorry, but it's a good occasion, good chance to try it for the first time and fall in love with it because my students just love word wall. All right, just waiting for the people who are writing now, and then I'll move on with the presentation. Okay, so I will say in a minute what Dobrila and Maria are writing. Okay, now I'm going back to my presentation. All right, so preparing the scenarios, we all, I think, most of us, used some resources that are quite rich, in fact. Uh, these are the links that you have here, and the names of the sites are the repositories where you can find lots of case studies, lots of examples how nature-based solutions were really implemented in reality in different places around Europe and sometimes even around the whole world. So I really encourage you to just click and look at the atlas, for example. Urban Nature Atlas is just a map with some places marked, and you can just click on the place, open it, and see what nature-based solution was. They are usually from cities, but not only, sometimes seashores or some other places as well. So it's really nice to see what's possible to do. There is also one more resource that is uh, very good for the beginners, in fact, to understand what NBS is. This is a game that was prepared by I Think Nature. It's a game. Well, this you can see is a screenshot of the game. Uh, you become a mayor of the city. And there are some problems. The 5 points here are the 5 problems, like, for example, climate resilience or water management or air quality, right? The problems that really most cities face. And each time you have the description of the problem and you have to make a decision what to do. You have some choices, usually three, sometimes two options to choose from, and you get points for that. You either score uh, top best answer, you choose the best answer, or you choose medium, which is quite a good solution, but not the best possible, or the worst that is possible, and there is always explanation of why this solution is good or bad, and what it makes for the city, for the citizens, and how it will implement the citizens' life in the future. So while playing the game, you will learn about NBS a lot, and you will be able to understand it and have some examples of how it works. And then if you see that your city has similar problems, then you will know what to suggest, you yourself or with your students to meet with the local council and suggest some solutions. So I really encourage you to play the game. Sorry, this is quite a good entertainment and learning as well. All right, so I will give the floor to Gabriela again.
Okay, so thank you. Right now, also, we have something on a plan. Our plan is also to show you that, okay, I'm going to share what I really need. Okay, so can you see this? Not yet because I'm not sharing anything, but I'm going to share my screen and immediately you will see what I actually have in mind. So, as you can see, so now we can switch to course catalog. As you can see, I hope few of you or maybe everyone is aware of existence of European Schoolnet Academy, as you can see. So European Schoolnet Academy is just a really useful web page which provides for free education for teachers, actually for you, and it in different fields, as you can see. So there is the welcoming page of all the course catalog or the for course catalog where you can find really interesting courses. So the courses are based on MOOC elaboration. So MOOC, it's a massive open course for everyone who wants to just learn something, and mostly it's aimed for teachers. And all the time when you just become a part of such MOOC, so definitely at the end of this education there should be something to produce, like learning scenario, or maybe to try out some activities with students to give feedback. So, and also I want you to pay attention there. In this catalog you can find some really useful courses, and some of them are in run again because they were very successful, and so people can go there and to do it again, or some who haven't had the chance to just take part in such courses, they are rerun of the courses. For example, this is the 3 R's and animal use in science. It's again rerun for those who are interested in it. And as you can see, there are lots of other courses that will start shortly till the end of this year, actually. And so all of you are welcome to just register or actually join these courses and to learn something more. Why I want you to know about existence, or actually why their courses are here, because European Schoolnet Academy really works hard to set and to design such learning material for teachers to take immediately and to get the sources of what they might use in the lessons with the students. And as you can see, those were really very successful as well. Integrated STEM teaching for primary schools. I also took part in it, and as you can see, there is a rerun of it again. And also these for secondary schools. So if you have different age of students, so you easily can get involved in such MOOC and take part. And also what I want you to show is that still, if you go and if you register for such courses, as you can see, I have my account in European School and Academy. It's easy to create. And what I have done is listed in my courses, and anytime I can go back and just to look for the material, studying material inside. As you can see, you are also awarded by the certificate, so you can have something really touchable that you can show that you experience and you did your own self-studying and brought something new for your ordinary classes, and it will show that you really study and you work on your own and get the newest sources in your teaching practice. And as you can see, there is this has already finished, but as I have heard, they, based on the interest of people around Europe, they are planning to do rerun of these exploring nature-based solution in your classroom. And I can see that Gabriela Sobodova, you have been also one of the participants of this MOOC. And what is really interesting, even after finishing the course, or you can easily go there and you can find all the material that you really need for your later teaching career and all those things. But yes, you must be aware that some things like live events are not in progress because the MOOC has already finished. But when there is rerun, everything will be accessible, but on the other platform. And so you can easily go there and you can try everything. So as I showed you, the catalog of all the courses is pretty full, and all the material stays there for you to use it anytime. And so if you are maybe interested in coding, for example, this is really what's going on, because really in a short time there is going to be Code Week online for teachers as well to go and to study. I'm just going to look what else is there in our presentation. And so, to be honest, we have run all the possibilities for today's webinar. I hope that you really got as much new motivation and new information for you to take into your teaching. And anytime, so those two of us, so Eva and I, are really real eTwinners, so you can find us on eTwinning platform. So anytime if you have any problems or you just want to get any hints from us, you can just very easily get in touch with us, because we are here. And it doesn't work, yes, actually, and because still we have few minutes, so now we can have just open debate. And what usually I do in my webinars, it's time for you to give us some questions, or if you want anything to be answered right now, it's the right time for you to ask, or maybe just to say something or write something, because for you, you can only use the chat box to write some comments or write to us. I'm going to stop sharing and maybe we now can get in touch. So don't be afraid, just write any questions that you might find really for now to be answered. And Eva and I, we are here to help you with it. And if you think, Eva, would you have anything to say, or have you got
Just,
anything
if you have
else
some
to
questions, but
just
also if you maybe have
say?
some experience with NBS, because maybe while we were talking, you remembered that there is something like that in your town, for example. Maybe you have something like that. Just write it now.
And I think this platform is eTwinning. So if you are just thinking of setting a new eTwinning project on these green topics, so it's just place to find a good or just to find another participants because this is international group. So maybe just find a way how to address to someone and maybe
Mhm.
to start a new
Yes,
project with the
some
same
activities from the learning
topic.
scenarios, mine or Gabriela's or some other that are on the Scientix page, can be easily changed in the way that they are used in the project, right? To be some of the tasks can be done between the schools, right, in cooperation. So this is really worth considering.
And maybe you can go a more practical way. So maybe you can just set this vertical wall somewhere in your class because definitely as a result of having such a really nice device or not device, actually garden in your classroom is that the level of oxygen will rise in your classroom so students will have more oxygen to think and just also I can see that at the end so your students will do better in your classes because of really nice atmosphere and also green wall somewhere in your classroom. And so they just, if you give them the OPLA or other repositories, so they can find real examples of NBS solutions in your surroundings, in your country, or maybe some of NBS actions has already been done
Mhm.
somewhere around your school. So who knows? Maybe it's
Right,
just
Gabriela
time for
wrote that
you
she
to
works in
explore and for your
kindergarten. I think
students.
it's the best time to start because when we make such young students love nature and not only love but also see the possibilities that what we can do thanks to nature, how we can use the nature, it's really it works for their whole lives. Yeah, I think you mean the Gabriela, you mean the green wall, right? I have seen this. Mhm.
Yeah, vertical wall. It was in one scenario, so they worked on it and they did measurements actually about the level of oxygen in the air. So it's the proof that to have such green wall inside a
Mhm.
classroom
Or in the
is
corridor, right?
is the best point ever. Somewhere, yeah, I think so. And I think it's not a very financially difficult to have it because students can bring their own flowers or plants and they can just make a shelf and to put there lots of flowers. And so just show students that also they can measure the oxygen
Mhm.
and it shows that really it's a good idea. And it's with
Or
really,
maybe they
really
can just
small help
grow the
around.
plants from seeds even in the school, right? That is very cheap. In fact, you can use just beans. That's very cheap and looks great because the bean grows very long because it has long branches. So you can use that and just put the plants somewhere you need.
And definitely, if there are students, so you will be surprised what a good ideas and different angle students might have for the topic you want them to solve. Because maybe if you are planning or your headmaster is planning to do some revitalization around your school, to use or to create some green fields or green spaces around the school. So I think the first idea is to go to students and give them space to impress or just to express what they should like to have around their school. So such ideas might be also used. Okay, so I don't know if you have any questions and other questions. So still we have time, 1 minute to fill in the time. It was really pleasure for us, for both of us, Eva and me, Gabriela, to have you here. I'm a little bit not happy because only four of you are here. So the predicted number was 100. So I don't know, maybe because bad timing, it's Friday night. So people went somewhere out and it's not time to stay inside and to watch computer screen again. But thank you very much for being here. It was pleasure for both of us to deliver this webinar to such green and NBS friendly people. And I hope we will meet sooner or later in other meetings or in other activities under the roof or umbrella of eTwinning or Scientix
Thank
or
you very much. Have a
NBS.
good night.
Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice time.